Okay, so today we'll start off with the accounting preferences. So depending on the features that you have enabled, it will drive what are the preferences that you would like to have once the features have been enabled. Okay, so for enabling preferences, you went through setup, company, and enable features, right? But for accounting preferences, you'll have to go to setup, accounting, and if you scroll down, here you will see accounting preferences. So if you click on that, you will be taken to the page where you have all the accounting preferences defined. Okay, so here we have various subtabs: general, item and transactions, order management, project, time and expense, and approval routing. So we'll go through them one by one. Okay, so the first preference is whether you would like to use the account numbers. We went through the accounts, right? The chart of accounts. Each and every account has a number associated with it. So if I scroll down, here you will see that we have the numbers associated with it. Okay, so in case if we want these numbers to be shown or numbers to be mandatory, we can check this checkbox so that the account numbers would be required on each and every transaction or each and every chart of account or account that you create. Similarly, whether you would like to have the legal name in the account, whether all transaction types should be shown in the reconciliation or not. Okay, so you have the bank reconciliation, right? So whether you want all the transaction types to be shown on the reconciliation statement, that will show up here. Similarly, whether you want to expand accounting list, there are some transactions, for example, journals or any other transactions wherein you can select the accounts. Okay, but not all type of accounts are shown under that particular list. Okay, so in case if you want to show all the accounts that are there in your chart of accounts in that list, you can just check this checkbox which will say expand accounting list. Similarly, cash basis reporting, this is something new that has come up, so even I am not aware of it. Okay, so in case if you want the standard reports to show cash basis rather than accrual, then we have to check this checkbox. Are we okay till now?
Yes.
Similarly, aging reports. Okay, whether we want the aging reports to be defined on the transaction date or on the due date. Are you aware of what is a aging report? AP aging, AR aging?
No,
No.
Okay, so AR aging is nothing but it shows me the number of customers and the amount that is due against that particular customer. Similarly, on the purchase side, we have the AP aging report. So if I go to reports, suppliers, I'll see the AP aging. If I go to the customers, I'll be able to see the AR aging as well. So if I go to AR aging report, it will show me the customer and what's the amount that is pending against that particular customer and from how many days. So that is nothing but the AR aging report. So for this particular customer, the total balance is maybe $27 and it is pending from, it is greater than 90 days. So the invoice was generated before 90 days. Okay, so similarly you will see all those customers and the aging report here. So the thing here is, if I go to the aging options, it will show me whether I want the aging report to be on the due date. The transaction has the due date as well, right? So for example, I generated the invoice today, but the terms are 30 days. So the due date would be after 30 days. So I want the AR aging report to start from the transaction date or from the due date. That would define here. Similarly, whether we want the void transactions using reversal journal. So in case if you want to void any transaction, so for example, check. A check once given can be voided as well if we want to cancel it. So whether we want the transaction to create a reversal journal, when we void a particular transaction, we have to check this checkbox. Similarly, there are many other preferences as well, whether we want the approvals on the journal entry, whether we want user events on bulk journal approvals. So user events is nothing but a script. So whether we want to bulk approve journals using a user event, then we can do that. Whether we want to allow custom GL segments to be deleted, then we can enable those preferences. See, these things might not be, you can say you'll not be able to understand much of it as of now, but you'll have to go through some of the help to understand the terminologies. I'll explain you whatever you can say are of most importance. Okay.
Okay.
Similarly, allow transaction outside posting date or not. Posting date is or posting period is nothing but, so for example, you close your monthly periods, right? Or the months. So once the month has been closed, you cannot enter transaction in that particular month. Okay, so that your financials match. So what system allows you means asks here you is whether you want the transaction to be posted outside posting period. So what we do is I might enter the transaction today. Okay, so the posting period would be by default January 2021. But in case if I allow the transaction to be posted out, means to be entered outside posting period, then even if I'm entering the transaction today, I'll be able to enter the posting period maybe Feb 2021, or in case if required, I can enter any other period, maybe say December 2020 as well. So this is nothing but whether we want the system to allow the transactions to be posted outside posting period. Okay, so this is mostly required for reporting purposes. So we have three options, whether it should disallow, it should warn, or allow. If we you can say click on warn, it will just warn us that you are entering a transaction in outside the posting period, whether you want to save it or not. Okay. Similarly, if I've closed a particular period and I try to enter a transaction in that period, whether that should be enter, you can say a transaction should be saved in the current period, maybe today's period, or the first open period. Do you understand what it is, or do you want me to explain this?
Please explain.
Okay, so for example, I have closed my period till November 2020. Okay, but December 2020 is still open. So today I'm entering a transaction, maybe say in Jan 2021. So if I enter a transaction for November, in which particular period it should get saved, whether it should be in the first open period. So by default, it would be December 2020. But I have selected it here as current period. So instead of December, it will get saved in Jan 2021. So it defines in which particular period the transaction should get saved if I enter the, or if I change the posting period, whether it should be in the first open period or in the current period. Do you get that?
Suppose one doubt, Pratik. The current period and first open period. So there must be some options should be there, na, during entering time. Okay, what suppose first open period that transaction should go in December. Suppose I want some transaction. We are doing some transaction in January 6 itself, but it should go in December. Then how the user can select it?
You can select it from the drop down.
Okay,
If
मतलब
you
date
don't
should
select
be.
anything, then if you don't select anything, then it would by default go to the current period, whatever option that we have selected. But in case if you want that to be saved in December, then you can select the period December accordingly on that transaction from the drop down.
Okay, okay. Actually, in our ERP, na, that option is not there. That's by
So
default
for
all are.
example, if I go to a particular invoice, on that invoice, I have the option to select the period. Let it open. I'll show you that. Apart from that, whether we want the system to edit or create inventory transaction in the close period or not, whether we want the system to allow the inventory transaction to be posted outside the posting period or not. So all these options are available, whether it should allow or whether it should disallow us. Okay.